The one nervous system state, the one survival state that I feel like so many people are stuck in, and one, they either don't realize it, or two, they've maybe even never heard of this. Maybe you've never heard of this state. It is called the functional freeze state. So the functional freeze state of the nervous system, don't mind the ice cream truck behind me, is a blended state, or what we call a mixed state in the nervous system. Mixed states were essentially discovered by Dr. Stephen Porges, who's the developer of the polyvagal theory, which is the upgraded science of the nervous system. I was trained at the Polyvagal Institute, so I feel like I can talk on this with some good knowledge. So the functional freeze state is a blend of your flight response, okay? And when you're in a flight response of your sympathetic nervous system, you have the mobilizing hormones of adrenaline and cortisol to mobilize you, right? So this is where the functioning comes in. Oh my gosh, these kids. This is where the functioning part of functional freeze comes in. However, you're also in a blended response of freeze, okay? Shutdown. And this is where you feel disconnected from yourself, okay? So you're most often, when you're in functional freeze, you are disconnected from your body, from your emotions, from your feelings. And so what this can look like is going through the motions without emotion. This can look like muscling through, armoring up. On the outside, it can look like, wow, they're really calm under pressure. They handle things so well. They are #unbothered. But internally, there is probably a lot of inner turmoil and emotional suppression that is going on, okay, that people don't see on the outside. And so the hard part about this, what the difficulty is with functional freeze, is that we are not meant to suppress emotions for chronic periods of time, okay? And so if we are always disconnected from our emotions, not only do we lose access to what we authentically want, right? Because we're disconnected, part of us is in freeze and shutdown. When we lose access to what is important to us, our wants, our desires, our needs, this means that we're no longer setting boundaries, we're no longer advocating for ourselves, we're no longer willing to, test the waters, if you will, okay, go after what we want. And so we kind of become complacent in life. And not only that, suppressing emotions, right? When we have emotions that are pushed down, we push down the emotional charge of adrenaline and cortisol, right? The stress hormones that come with a lot of those emotions. Like when we press down our anger, right? We're just, nope, we're going to move through it. When we press down our sadness and our grief, nope, we're just going to move through it. We are suppressing, think of it like a pressure cooker. We are pressing down all of those emotions and holding them in. And over time, those chronic stress hormones create chronic conditions like emotional, physical, and mental health issues. Science shows that emotional suppression absolutely correlates to negative health outcomes, especially for women. So again, we live in a world right now where we are so detached from our bodies, where it's almost glorified to like muscle through, armor up, hustle culture, again, #unbothered. But there's something to be said about allowing our body and allowing our nervous system to be with emotions rather than avoiding them. And avoiding is not the same thing as processing. Eventually, those emotions, those feelings, they will catch up with us. So what are your thoughts? Do you feel like functional freeze is something that feels really familiar for you? And let me know if you have any questions below in the comments.